Dear friends, I just published a video on YouTube and other social networks, which was about the experiences of Dr. Robert Montgomery, who had 9 cardiac arrests, including an afterlife experience after his 9th cardiac arrest. Since then, he's had a heart transplant, and so is no longer having any cardiac arrest. But his 9, should I say, near-death or after-death experiences are very revelatory. And they're all on YouTube right now. And if you know someone, or if you've had any experiences like that, near-death experience, life after death experience, then write to me, because I would love to interview you and create a whole series on life after death. So meanwhile, this has sparked a lot of interest in my book, Life After Death, which was published a long time ago. And I wanted to share some insights on life after death from my book, but also use it as a template to do meditations on life after death and much more. And so stay in touch, basically. And let me know if you know someone who's had these experiences, and perhaps you have, and you might want to share them with me. So here's a brief summary of what I wrote some time ago, which I shall be updating, followed by a meditation. So my book argues that death is an illusion of the senses. Death is an illusion of the senses. In my book, I draw extensively on Vedic philosophy, some ideas from quantum mechanics and modern physics, and also personal experiences to suggest that what we perceive as death is simply a transition. The soul, or let's say modified awareness, personal modified awareness, survives physical death and continues on a journey of refinement, which ultimately leads to enlightenment. This is the Vedic point of view. So, in my book, I propose that the afterlife is not a fixed or objective reality, but rather a state shaped by expectations and imagination and memories of the soul. So the afterlife, in this view, lasts as long as we can imagine it, and is experienced much like a dream world where souls can encounter love, compassion, strength, and truth. Of course, if you followed some of what I've said in the past, the world we currently live in is also a dream world. But because we are in the dream, it's a convincing dream world, and it's a lived reality. So too, the different versions of the afterlife are dream worlds, but when you're in them, they are lived realities. So existence in the afterlife becomes its own reward, and the nature of experience is influenced by your personal consciousness and by your beliefs, because your beliefs shape your dream reality and also your experience as a fictional character. So, in my book, I've attempted to reconcile insights from all these traditions, various spiritual traditions, but also psychology. And I have therefore suggested that what we call the afterlife and the boundary between this world and the next is not absolute. Instead, all worlds and times are embraced by a single underlying reality. The journey after death as a continuation of the soul's current path is not a separate or isolated event. So rather than adhering to specific narratives of heaven, hell, purgatory, and so on, I emphasize consciousness as the fundamental reality. I suggest that what souls experience after death is shaped by their expectations and their imagination and their desires and their aspirations in this life. And so what we call the spirit world exists in parallel as our own, vibrating at a different frequency. And like this one, is a dreamscape that we share with other souls that have experiences in a similar dreamscape, even now. So my book includes thought-provoking exercises designed to help readers experience these ideas, and first experience the ideas and then map their own understanding of eternity and their afterlife. So my approach is inclusive, aiming to help people make sense of spirituality regardless of their background or beliefs. I also use parables and storytelling in the book. So, in summary, Life After Death, The Burden of Proof presents a vision of death as a transformative, creative continuation of consciousness. And I hope that this will give you some reassurance, even help you plan your afterlife. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's my thesis. So let's do a meditation, in a sense, on this idea. Shall we try it? Okay, so let's try it, okay? It's a reflective meditation. So if you want, you can close your eyes and listen to me, or you can just follow along as you have. What if death is not an end, but a transition, a doorway to another phase of existence? I invite you to consider this. The burden of proof is upon you. Rather than viewing death as an abrupt cessation, let us see it as a continuation of the soul's journey, shaped by consciousness, belief, and imagination. So my central theme, of course, is both radical, but I hope also comforting, in the notion that consciousness is eternal and non-local. Non-local means outside space-time, no location in any aspect of time or space, but experiential. The body may perish, but the essence that animates us, the observer, the witness, remains. This perspective reframes death not as a loss, but as a transformation. And also planning for life after death then becomes less about preparing for oblivion and more about nurturing the qualities of consciousness that endure, such as love, compassion, curiosity, and of course, awareness. So if the afterlife is not a fixed destination, but a creative, subjective experience, then the way we live now directly shapes what comes next. Our expectations, our memories, our beliefs, our assumptions become the architecture of our next reality. So in this sense, planning for life after death is inseparable for how we plan our lives today. Every act of kindness, every moment of mindfulness, every effort to understand ourselves and others becomes a building block for the journey ahead. And this is how we can bridge both science and spirit. The vision I'm sharing with you is not limited to religious tradition. I draw on quantum physics and psychology to suggest that consciousness is the foundation of reality itself. I invite a new kind of planning, one that integrates spiritual practice with scientific curiosity. Meditation, self-inquiry, and compassionate action become tools not just for personal growth, but for preparing the soul for its next adventure in cosmic time. So the goal is to let go of fear. The most profound aspect of my message in these videos and these sharings is the invitation to let go of the fear of death. By recognizing our eternal nature, we can approach both life and death with openness and courage. And planning for the afterlife then is not about securing a place in heaven or avoiding hell, but about cultivating a consciousness that is ready to embrace whatever comes next with grace. So my goal in sharing these videos and ones that will follow is to encourage us to create our own map of eternity, drawing from, of course, our experiences, beliefs, aspirations. This is not a rigid plan, but a living, evolving vision, a way of aligning our daily lives with the deeper journey of the soul. So in this light, every moment becomes an opportunity to prepare not for an ending, but for a new beginning. And so planning for life after death is not about controlling the unknown, but about living fully and consciously now, that whatever comes next is a natural extension of who we are and who and what we are becoming. So let's approach the mystery of death not with fear, but with curiosity, creativity, hope, understanding, and knowing our true nature as timeless beings. Let me know if this is of any interest to you, and then if it is, also feel free to share it with others that you think might enjoy this journey with us, the soul's journey through cosmic time. Thank you, friends.